you doing? Welcome to my channel. I hope you're doing well today. If you're wondering what this channel's about, every single video we go on a different quest. And that quest is some kind of experience and we have fun along the way. And it's something I want to do and share. That's what this channel's about, doing and sharing. Before I get into what today's quest is all about, just want to remind you, subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. I'd love to have you here, part of our questing family. Let's talk about what we're doing today. I was watching Rhett and Link last spring and I was inspired by their decade kind of series where they try foods. Through that process, I found the 70's intriguing. I told my mom about this and I go back a couple months after telling her. She's kind of gone through her cookbook selection and she handed me a gift. The gift was the desserts cookbook from Southern Living from 1976. This is Pinterest before Pinterest existed. Basically, they would take a collection of different recipes people would send in to Southern Living and then they turn it into a hardcover book. I think that's a cool concept. Then I opened this front cover and it says German chocolate cake and frosting, page 22. I saw that, I knew it was my grandmother's handwriting. Hands down, it was hers, and that is the first thing I wanted to make. That is what we're doing today. We are baking a German chocolate cake with frosting. I am not an exceptional baker. I'm a decent baker, but most of my inspiration comes from Pinterest or the internet, because the internet, you know what I mean? Maybe a Betty Crocker cookbook. I'm excited to see how this turns out. Will it taste good? What ingredients did they use? How, I mean, all right, I already baked this, right? Because this is filmed after doing it all. But initially, this is definitely what I was thinking. Just to keep it 100 with you all, because you gotta do that. The video structure will be a little different than the first one. This isn't an interview. I pretty much set up a camera and filmed what I was doing. I got some cool shots and did some cool stuff, but I, in reading this, had to be completely invested and focused, or if I was worried about doing video, it would have taken twice as long, and I was not trying to take twice as long. Let's bake. interesting. Because you think with how much stuff goes into this, I realized not until after buying the supplies and then laying it all out, it was when I was actually putting ingredients together how unhealthy this recipe is. Then you taste it and you think, wow, this is gonna be decadent and heavy, but it's completely opposite. The cake is very light, it's delicious. The frosting is an odd consistency if you're not into that coconut or crunchy consistency. Like, it's a little strange, I'm not gonna lie to you. I liked it. It's not something I want all the time after knowing what goes into it. I mean, there's a lot of butter, it's a lot of sugar, it's not good for you. The other thing I thought while baking this and after the process of putting it together, I realized why people in the 70s maybe would make this often. It is not the most visually appealing cake, I would say. Personally, it's not something I look at and go, yes, but it didn't have to look perfect. Or you could kind of get it together in a couple hours and take it to a party and it'd be pretty simple, pretty easy. It would still taste good, you know what I mean? I don't know. I thought that was interesting. That was something I didn't really think about, and I learned in the process of making this cake. It's also pretty simple ingredients, pretty affordable. The big difference in making it light and airy and making it so smooth, I think, after doing this, is the cake flour and folding in egg whites. I knew folding in egg whites would make a big difference, but cake flour had no idea what difference it would make. I'm sure it's terrible for you, but it's what I've learned. If you want to do a throwback cake, follow this recipe. But it was a pretty good cake, and we ate over 50%. How much of the cake did we eat? We ate let's say like 7/8 of the cake if you split the cake into 8 and think about that in fractions. Let's say about 7/8 of the cake. So there was one decent piece left at the end. But that's pretty good for 2 adults and a cake around over the course of a week. I noticed was that people would probably be allotted a certain amount of space in the cookbook. And when that happened, you have to be pretty concise with what you're writing for the recipe and the instructions. The instructions are not perfect. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went back and read these quite a few times to make sure I was following it or assuming the next step correctly, because it's not extremely detailed, these books. But that was part of the fun. If you watch the British Bake Off, it felt a little like a technical challenge, just a little. There were more instructions and ingredient amounts and such, but it felt just a little like a technical challenge. I'm gonna leave the recipe down below, so if you wanna try making this, you can make it at home. Please send me recreation. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was a lot of fun to hang out with you today. Hopefully you had just like an ounce of fun, maybe a teaspoon worth of fun. Wow, that was bad. I apologize right now for that. That was bad. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you on the next quest.